Now, the biggest question a lot of people are asking this morning is how were those rioters allowed and able to get in the first place? And does security at the Capitol need to be ramped up? Joining us live now to talk about this is Dr. Robert Sanders, who, among many things, is a retired U.S. Navy judge, advocate, General Corps captain, and a national security educator. Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Sanders.
Good morning. Glad to be with you.
Dr. Sanders, taking a look at these images, what is your initial reaction? You have such a robust background in military and in matters of security.
Well, my first response is political violence is not something new to America. We understood it in the past. It's happened multiple times for centuries. We have an example of the takeover of the Wilmington government by people very of the same ilk, white supremacist leaning folks who did not believe in the government that they had and decided that the government that they wanted was going to be gotten by violence and force. Mm-hmm. So yesterday we saw an example of that at the extreme end, which changed for 200 years the ability of the United States to protect its seat of government, its capital, the People's House. Right. And we yesterday witnessed what political rhetoric turned to political violence will bring to us if we are not careful and are not discriminating in who we give power to in our country and how we allow them to use it.
Dr. Sanders, we know that people were able to get into the building. Strategically speaking, how do you think such a large number was able to get in? We do know that there are investigations happening right now into the police department.
Well, strategically thinking, if you think back about the demonstrations this summer, Black Lives Matter, you saw hundreds of uniformed police officers from multiple jurisdictions backed by the National Guard. You didn't see that yesterday. There's a different standard for certain demonstrators in America. And these people yesterday were not demonstrators. They were rioters bent on sedition and insurgency to topple the government. It was essentially an attempted coup. And the defenses to that are extreme military backed by National Guard. You saw that this summer for people who had that in mind, and you didn't see it yesterday for people who did. There should have been a perimeter of National Guard on the outside behind a robust police force that you now see. You now see the jurisdictions of Maryland and Virginia police and all the other federal uniformed officers in place. That should have been there before President Trump went to the rally and incited violence with his attorney, Rudy Giuliani.
Right. Dr. Sanders, where do you think we go from here? What changes need to be made, and what kind of a message does this send?
Well, the message it sends is we need to remember our history and our past. Our history is one of political violence will bring political violence if you allow the rhetoric to take hold, if you allow the lies and surrogates to support the lies, as we saw from congressmen and senators, even a senator from Texas, who was bringing forth support of these lies. We have to have a reckoning on the truth in America. And what is the truth in America? We can't have facts, alternative facts. There are only one set of facts. Now, you can rightfully interpret them differently. That's part of the political discourse. But facts are facts. You can't make them up. You can't bring in different ones. And you can't allow people who do that to be supported and to flourish in our environment, because you saw the result of that yesterday.
Right, absolutely. Definitely a wake-up call for many, and another perhaps wake-up call for those who already have seen what's been ongoing. Right, thank you so much, Dr. Sanders, for being with us. We appreciate your time.
I'm glad to be here. Unfortunately, I had to be here.